Morning everyone, I'm Storm Track Meteorologist Ashley Gann. I want to bring you up to speed with the latest on Hurricane Maria. And I know we've been talking a lot about Irma, the attention transition to Jose, but now Maria is a major hurricane heading towards the Leeward Islands on its way up towards Puerto Rico. If any of you remember, this may sound eerily similar to the track that Irma made initially. However, Maria will be taking a slightly different path, jogging to the north just a smidge. So here's what we're looking at right now. This is what is Hurricane Maria. Back behind it we have Tropical Storm Lee, so this is another disturbance. So we're really going to focus our attention right here. Notice the storm heading right towards the Leeward Islands. It's expected to begin drifting to the northeast towards Puerto Rico, clipping the northern edge of the Dominican Republic there, and then veering off to the north. So let me kind of put this in play mode for you. You'll get to kind of see the behind the scenes of how all of this is done. So as we know, I don't want to do that. So let me play this for you right here. So here is what we're going to be looking at. See that nice swirling motion? There's a very well-defined center of that circulation right there. And the reds and oranges, what we're looking at right here, this is what we call our infrared imagery. Infrared is just what we use to measure heat or energy. And so heat is energy for these storms. The more heat you have, that means the more turbulence essentially inside the hurricane. So what we're noticing is just a large area of energy, the deep reds, the oranges, that's where that heat is located. And obviously as you get out to the fringe, the lighter greens, not quite as much. So this is not rain, but this is the energy that we're looking at there. So it's something that we watch very closely. But I do want to show you two things. First, I want to show you the track of Jose, and then I'm going to put on the track for Maria, because the track to Maria is what everyone has, I'm sure, a lot of questions about. But Jose is closer to home right now. So here's Jose. It's a Category 1 hurricane. Winds now have subsided to 75 miles per hour. It will be tracking off to the north and then eventually bearing eastbound. So at this point, it looks like maybe the corners of, say, or the very coastal areas of Massachusetts, back through Rhode Island, Connecticut, down through New Jersey, going to experience a little bit of high surf, even along the New York coastline there in New York City. So this could increase maybe a little bit of wind, but keep in mind the eastern side of the storm is the more dangerous part. This is the windier side and the rainier side. So notice that will be out to sea. So this will just be what we call some wraparound rain, and the wind will likely move out of the north. So this rain, it's not going to impose too much as far as storm surge with all of that upwelling of that wind and that water. So I feel that the coastal areas will be spared for the most part. There could just be some nuances with some of that rainfall, and again a little bit of surge, but not near the impact if any of this coast was on the east side of the storm, or if this storm system was more inland. So okay, that's that. So let's open up this graphic really quick, and I'll kind of walk you through what we're going to be dealing with Maria. So again, let's look over here really quick while that's loading up. This is Hurricane Maria. Right now a Category 3 hurricane, wind speeds at roughly 120 miles per hour. So this storm system is really packing a punch there. And as we expand this out, we can actually get a good idea where you see those letter M's. That means it will be a major hurricane. And because it's going to remain a major hurricane, it does look like it's going to have quite the impact in Puerto Rico, on in the Dominican Republic, and then the southern edge here of the Bahamas as it moves out into the Atlantic. And right now, forecast models are suggesting this will stay out to sea. The reason why, there's a big old high pressure system sitting out here, and that's going to churn up a lot of that water. So that's what we're watching for right there. So as we move back over here, this will give us kind of a better idea of what that track looks like for Maria. So putting this, I'll kind of zoom out here, move a couple things so you can see it a little bit better. So this is how we make our graphics. So right now, again, winds at 120 miles per hour. It's a Category 3 hurricane currently. And then as we kind of move through, I did not set my pause point there. Let's go ahead and just delete that big bad boy right there. We'll come back down here. Let's zoom out so you get a much better picture. And so what we'll be tracking here is this storm as it moves through the Leeward Islands. And I know a lot of people are questioning, well, this looks really similar to Irma, but let me kind of point out a couple of things that are different. One, with Irma, we had a cold front that was moving across the U.S. That cold front helped to steer or push Irma as it began to move just to the north of Cuba, and that cold front collided with that storm, and it really just pulled that storm across Florida. So the chances of that developing again and happening at the same time again is unlikely. So the path will be very different because of those upper level dynamics. Then you also have this Bermuda high. The Bermuda high is going to impact it very differently as well. So keep that in mind. It does look like right now, because what we have is all throughout the year this big old high pressure system that sits out in the Atlantic Ocean, and what happens is that high pressure system is swirling in this clockwise rotation, so it creates a little bit of a steering motion, and it can literally kind of slingshot the storms on the bottom side of this high pressure system. So as we track this, I am going to put a couple of little pause points in here so we get a little bit better idea of dates and times. So we'll pause it along its path so now we can kind of see what's going on. So notice Category 3 storm, and man, it's expected to become a Category 4, stay a major hurricane as it slams the coast of Puerto Rico and then heading off towards the Bahamas. If it bears this course right here and doesn't hook north, I mean, all intents and purposes, it could be barreling towards the Georgia, maybe even the South Carolina coastline. There will be some influence from that high, so I feel certain that it is going to veer north at some point. I don't think this is taking direct aim towards Florida, but if we veer north and we don't get far enough back out to sea, then we could start to see this curving closer to the U.S. I think it's something we definitely have to track. Just like Irma, days out from this storm making landfall, we were watching it and we're getting updates every 12 hours. Hurricane hunters are going to be flown in, tracking all of the information like the pressure, the wind speed, all of that very crucial information that we need to know. So in saying that, we are tracking the storm very closely so that we have a really good idea of the prep time and all the preparations that need to take place if people need to evacuate those coastal areas, whether it's Florida, Georgia, the coastal Carolinas, or if this thing veers out to sea and it's really just what I call a fish storm. The fish live in the water, the storm lives in the water. So that's how we get that saying, the fish storm. So wanted to bring you the latest update so we can have another major hurricane. We're still dealing with Jose, Category 1 storm, Maria, Category 3, and we have Lee off in the coast here. So as we're dealing with Lee, it's a tropical depression at this point, winds now at 35 miles per hour. This storm system is expected to stay out to sea. You'll notice here it's going to track right off back into the Atlantic. So that's a quick update on what we're seeing in the tropics. Wanted to bring you the latest information. It just came down minutes ago. You're hearing it first here, and these Facebook Lives will continue going on. Storm track meteorologist Nate Harrington is in for Mark Prater tonight, and Nate will be giving you an update about 9 to 10 o'clock tonight when the newer model information comes in. So we'll continue to do this around the clock on Facebook, and of course in between our Facebook Live updates we'll have on-air coverage too. So whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on air, and we'll even be updating our website, so our weather blog. There's plenty of ways to get information from the CBS 42 Storm Track weather team. With that, I hope everyone has a great day. Please post your questions below and I will be trying to answer them throughout the morning. Thanks, y'all.